Today we will be covering how to read your pay stub. The example I will be using is a pay stub from an employee who has chosen to use direct deposit, thus they receive their pay stub by email each week. If you choose to receive your paycheck by mail or by picking up the physical check, your pay stub will look a little different, but all of the information is the same, so this tutorial still applies to you. At the top of your pay stub to the left-hand side, you will find the address of our headquarters in Missoula. Just below that, you will find your personal address. If your address or any other personal information is incorrect, please log into your account on Bamboo HR, and under the Personal tab, please input the correct information. Please note that you cannot make changes to your personal information using the Bamboo HR phone app. You must use the web browser version. Next, you will find the location of your home branch. To the right-hand side, you will find the date your paycheck will be issued. This is the date you will get paid. Below the date, you will see how your paycheck is being deposited into your account. In this example, the employee has their full paycheck being deposited into one account. You do have the option to have your paycheck automatically split into two separate accounts on a percentage or fixed rate basis. For example, I could say that I want $400 to be deposited into account number 1 and whatever is left over to be deposited into account number 2. Or I could say deposit 75% into account number 1 and the other 25% into account number 2. In this top section, you will find the receipt number, check number, and the employee number. These items are more for accounting purposes and helps them organize their records. Once again, you will find the pay date in this line, the quarter we are currently in, our location by state, and also the period in which you are being paid for. Here at Dayspring, we are paid on a weekly basis, every Friday. Our pay period begins on Monday and ends on the following Sunday. So in this example, the pay period began on Monday, March 9th and ended on Sunday, March 15th, and the employee will receive their paycheck for this period on Friday, March 20th. Now we will look at how your paycheck is broken down into individual sections. This person is a full-time employee who is scheduled to work 40 hours a week. For this particular pay period, he worked 40.5 hours. Thus, it is broken down into regular hours and overtime hours. So for the 40 regular hours he worked, he received a total of $560. This is a result of the 40 hours being multiplied by his hourly pay rate of $14. He also received overtime pay for the additional half hour that he worked. Thus, an additional $10.50 was added to his total pay. The next section, titled Premium, shows the amount of money you will receive for things like working on a trauma site. This is a situation that results in you being on a job where there has been a death, crime, or accident and involves a significant amount of human bodily fluids, including at a minimum blood. The next section is titled COVID-19/bereavement. This section will show your pay if you have been pre-approved for the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. Additionally, this section reflects bereavement pay. This enables an employee to make the necessary arrangements associated with the death of an immediate family member. Here we have paid time off. This will reflect the number of hours of PTO you took for that period and the corresponding amount of pay. Here we have holiday pay. All non-exempt, regular, full-time employees who have completed their probationary period will receive 8 hours of pay at their regular pay rate, whether they worked that day or not. This includes New Year's Day, Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, Thanksgiving Day, and Christmas Day. The P's and DM sections are not being used, so you can ignore those two sections. Miscellaneous pay includes bonus pay for things like being on call for the week, responding to an emergency call outside of normal business hours, responding to an emergency trauma call outside of normal business hours, and for things like receiving commission pay, referring an employee, or being mentioned in a Google, Facebook, or Yelp review. These types of situations normally result in a fixed amount of pay and are not affected by the number of hours worked. If you would like more clarification regarding miscellaneous pay, please see the employee handbook or speak to your office manager. If you are a salary employee, you will see your weekly earnings here. This bottom row adds up the total number of hours you worked that week, what the total amount of pay was, your total amount of add-ons, which includes things like a phone stipend, which would be listed down below in the calculation section. It also shows the total amount of deductions, which results in your net pay. This is the actual amount you will receive on your paycheck. Then you have your year-to-date wages. This indicates your gross pay for the year thus far, before any deductions have been taken out. Here we have your paid time off. This section shows how many hours of PTO you've accrued for the current year. You can see that this employee has earned 14.02 hours for the current year, but they have 18.02 hours available. This is because the employee has carried over PTO hours from the previous year that he did not use. So if this employee was wanting to take a vacation, this is the maximum amount of time he could request off. Lastly, this section shows a breakdown of the deductions taken out of your paycheck. It shows the amount deducted for all the following categories for the current weekly paycheck and how much has been deducted year to date. First, you will see the mandatory state and federal deductions like Social Security, Medicare, and federal and state income tax. This line is an example of an employee who has become eligible for 401k retirement and is exercising that benefit. There are typically two lines for this benefit as both the employer and the employee may contribute. In this example, you will see the company's match contribution is a credit while the employee line shows as a deduction. EE stands for you, the employee, and ER stands for the employer. Please note, if you are a full-time employee and have been employed for at least 1 year and are interested in learning more about our 401k retirement plan, please see your office manager or call HR. This final section shows how much money was deducted from your paycheck for benefits such as health insurance, dental, vision, and life insurance. Also note that this section does not show Dayspring's contribution to insurance. Overall, this section might look a little different for everybody, as each employee exercises different benefits. So if I didn't cover something that is on your pay stub and you are unsure what it is, please reach out to the accounting department or HR.